the president, during that Federal Executive Council meeting, had also tasked Vice President Kashim Shettima to lead the National Economic Council in identifying and rehabilitating grazing reserves into ranches, aimed at reducing farmer-herders conflicts and transforming the livestock sector into economically viable development. Well, while this dual approach of addressing root causes of insecurity through the Livestock Reform Initiative and strengthening the police is commendable, questions about the implementation process and whether exceptions will be made for certain officials continue to be debated. And I'll take Ahmad's tweet. He wrote on X, President Tinubu's actions demonstrate pragmatic and visionary leadership by withdrawing police escorts from VIPs. He is redeploying security personnel to frontline duties where they are most needed, addressing manpower shortages and strengthening community policing. At the same time, his directive for an emergency NEC meeting on the National Ranching Plan highlights a commitment to sustainable livestock farming, peace building, and national harmony. Transitioning from open grazing to modern ranching will reduce farmer-herder conflicts, boost productivity, and modernize the agricultural sector. These steps show a government that is proactive, strategic, and focused on safety, prosperity, and long-term well-being of Nigerians. Meanwhile, the president of the Meeti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Baba Othman Ngezelma, has stated that many grazing reserves in the country no longer serve the purpose for which they were originally established. Speaking in an exclusive interview with Ireti Bakare Yusuf on Borderlines, the MACBAN president also addressed the security crisis, stating that pastoralists wielding AK-47 rifles are terrorists and not farmers, while agreeing that there is genocide in Nigeria. Let's take a look.
More Muslims than Christians. Insurgents have killed more Muslims than Christians in Nigeria. So that is why this issue of genocide, yes, there was genocide. But genocide against who? These are lists of names of people that were killed. You know, there was a time when the media started saying that this is a private business. Cattle breeding is a private business. They should cater for their cows. I laugh. Even airline business is a private business, but government do construct airports for flights to land and take off at the expense of the government. Whenever you see a group of pastoralists moving wolves, dangerous weapons and arms.
What do you mean by dangerous weapons? Because they will move with cutlass, no?
Carrying AK-47.
Guns, right, guns.
Whenever you see a group of youths with cows carrying AK-47 guns, these guys are criminals, these guys are cattle rustlers.
Well, Rufai, I know you have different views, but, you know, this admission from MACBAN's leadership signals a significant shift in thinking within pastoral communities about the future of cattle rearing in Nigeria by acknowledging that grazing reserves have failed their purpose and distinguishing legitimate herders from armed criminals. The MACBAN president is positioning MACBAN to engage constructively with the government's livestock reform agenda while, you know, condemning the violence that has claimed thousands of lives on all sides of the farmer-herder conflict. You wanted to talk about one of the comments that he made in that interview.
What a very funny illustration.
Yes.
We're talking about livestock business.
Yes.
You are comparing it to airlines. Does the president of MACBAN also know that airlines pay for parking space in the airport? They pay to use the airports? Do they land on the expressway? Does this seaplane land on coastal road, except maybe for that plane that was almost crashing on the highway?
On the car.
Yeah, on the car.
Yes.
You know, as a safety precaution measure. So does he see airlines landing indiscriminately? So you can see the very funny argument they make. Yeah. And please, with President Tinubu, what he said, these grazing reserves, it doesn't sit well with me.
Okay.
That is Ruga. Increasingly, we are going back to the days of the conversation of Ruga. You are saying set aside a grazing reserve for people's land that they already own. So who is going to pay for that land? Anybody that wants to do cattle business should buy land and ranch. When this conversation of Ruga was on, King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal showed us a video of how he was taking care of his cow and cattle. If you are interested in this business, but no indiscriminate ranching, no grazing reserves. By the way, despite, you see, so this is my field. I mean, I have a degree in all of this matter. Taking cattle through these heinous conditions in the first place reduces meat quality, reduces the, the productivity or the quality of meat, reduces marbling. See, Oji, there's a particular beef called Wagyu. One of the most pristine beef in the world. Wagyu can set you back hundreds of dollars. No, you know, you have Japanese Wagyu and all of that. Can set you back hundreds of dollars. Do you know, if you see where they pamper Wagyu, they will even give Wagyu alcohol. They will give him in a secluded area, cool the temperature of the Wagyu, pet the Wagyu.
What kind of alcohol? Wine, red wine?
No. It's fermented. What's it called?
Yeah.
Fermented to be able to help because Wagyu is said to have very good marbling, very good meat layouts, so that when they cut a sirloin steak or a Wagyu steak and they sell it, a pound can set you back hundreds of dollars.
But so this is what we should be advocating.
This is what we should be advocating because all of this that they are doing even destroys meat quality.
Kwashoko.
You're having Kwashoko cows.
Yes.
And
that's what we eat.
It's not even efficient because go and check the chart of beef productivity. I'm not sure Nigeria ranks first 5 in the world.
Okay.
So if you want to do it, please, you need to invest in it. Investing in it is getting a place you can pay for, you can lease, where veterinary doctors come to see them. I mean, when we were in UNAP then, we imported some Kalahari goats that were not from this region. Do you know we had to build a shed for them and we have to put on fan for them to be cooling them?
All right.
And you know when we imported Kalahari goats. So these are the things they should do. And for President Tinubu, it just shows that he has also gone to violate his own decree or statement that he put down. Because you see, that provides so that go and call the IG. I can assure you for free, almost everybody will call the IG and they will prove that there's a need for police officers. So like Dr. Abati said, the question we should ask is, how come we became a country where everybody needs private guards?
Because of insecurity.
It's a failure of the security architecture.
Because of the insecurity.
So if we can't fix that, almost everybody needs private. Shipping we go to civilized countries. How many the same Nigerians that use police escort here, they enter buses in London. I have met many Nigerian governors in trains in London.
On the other hand, we see senior government officials in
London.
They
go abroad. They
on
don't
their
use
bikes,
they don't use police protection.
They don't need.
Sheyi Makinde the other day was running he ran a marathon somewhere in Belgium. He ran a marathon.
All right. Still on
Did he get any police protection? Hey.
Well said, Rufai. U.S. Representative Riley Moore, who is in Nigeria on a fact-finding mission, has shared harrowing accounts from Christian internally displaced persons in Benue State following his visit to IDP camps in the north-central state. Congressman Moore, in a post on X, documented testimonies of extreme violence that has displaced over 600,000 Christians in Benue State alone. He stated that he met dozens of Christians who were driven from their homes and that they told harrowing stories that would remain with him for the rest of his life. And I'll read Riley Moore's post on X in part. He wrote, "One woman was forced to watch as they killed her husband and 5 children. She and her unborn child barely escaped. Another woman's family was murdered in front of her and her baby was ripped from her womb. One man's family was hacked to death in front of his eyes and his arm was permanently mangled. There are more than 600,000 Christians in IDP camps in Benue State alone. These Christians should be able to live in their ancestral homeland without fear of genocidal Fulani. while Riley Moore's visit to Benue IDP camps brings renewed international attention to the humanitarian crisis in the state, the characterization of the violence as genocidal, and the emphasis on religious targeting may very well increase pressure on the U.S. government to make a stronger stance on Nigeria's security challenges, particularly regarding religious freedom concerns. And of course, the U.S. House of Appropriation responded to Riley Moore's post on X, and they wrote, "America will not look away as innocent lives are stolen," directed by the President of the United States. Appropriators led an on-the-ground mission to inform a report on Christian persecution in Nigeria and guide policy recommendation. Religious freedom and atrocity response are central to our NSRP bill. And I'll take a reaction from a Nigerian user on X. He wrote, "I have to say, I'm genuinely surprised at the amount of effort the U.S. is putting into these congressional hearings. A big delegation in Nigeria going around the country and talking to actual people. Nigerian leaders don't even care that much about this stuff. Very weird and interesting." Ayo, meanwhile, last week, former Niger Delta militant leader Asari Dokubo berated Reverend Ezekiel Dachimo, the chairman of the Church of Christ in Nations in Plateau State, who has been outspoken about the severity of the Christian genocide in Nigeria. Well, in the video that made the rounds on social media, Asari Dokubo warned Dachimo to stop spewing the genocide narrative in Nigeria, describing Dachimo as a fake pastor and a pathetic, pathological liar. Let's take a look.
Dachimo, if I place cost on you, you will not last 24 hours. Wallahi billahi bi-iznillah, you will not last 24 hours because you are a fake and you are a liar. There's hardly any crisis in the north that is rooted in religion. So the Hausa people, farmers that are being killed in Sokoto and in Kebbi by the so-called bandits or whatever they are called, why are they killing them?
All right. Asari Dokubo has spoken again. The last time he spoke, he said he was going to challenge the U.S. President Donald Trump if he were to bring boots on ground in Nigeria. Now he's here saying that there's no Christian genocide in Nigeria.